guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my most anticipated books for the first half of 2020. I was going to talk about all of my anticipated books for 2020, but there are so many. This video would be way too long. As it is, just between January and June, I have over 30 books that I'm really excited about. Most of these are ones that I feel like I haven't heard anybody talk about. I did like a lot of research to try to find all of these books, and I'm just so genuinely excited for all of these. I hope that because of this video, you're able to find some new books to be excited for. I'm just gonna go through them by release date. So starting with January 7th, there are 3 books that I'm really excited for. The first one is Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim. This is a gender-swapped retelling of The Count of Monte Cristo, which sounds incredible. The main character just wants one thing, and that is to get revenge on the man who ruined her family and stole the life she once had. So when she saves a mysterious stranger from drowning, he, as a reward, offers her unimaginable riches and the chance to finally enact her plan of vengeance. The next book is Come Tumbling Down by Seanan McGuire. This is the 5th book in the Wayward Children's series, which you guys know is my all-time favorite. I'm so excited. This once again follows Jack and Jill. I am so excited for this. I have already pre-ordered it and I cannot wait to read it. And then the next one is Lady Hotspur by Tessa Gratton. This is a companion to The Queens of Innisleer, which is one of my favorite books. So this takes place in the same world, but I think it's a couple centuries later. This is inspired by Shakespeare's Henry IV. It says that it follows the descendants of 2 warring kingdoms. I'm just so excited to dive back into this world and see what is going on with these new characters. So the next 3 books come out on January 14th. The first one is Burn the Dark by S.A. Hunt. This caught my attention because it says it is the chilling adventures of Sabrina meets Stranger Things horror action adventure series about a punk YouTuber on a mission to bring down witches, one video at a time. So it is about this woman who has a very popular YouTube channel where she basically hunts witches, but all of her subscribers think that it is a work of fiction and it's just for entertainment and fun, but it turns out it's very much real, and her ultimate goal is to seek revenge against a coven who wronged her, and I just cannot wait for this. It sounds so good. The next one is The Better Liar by Tannen Jones. This is about a woman who conceals the death of her sister in order to claim their joint inheritance. So she, I think, hires somebody who very much resembles her sister to play the part so they can go get this inheritance. And there's a lot of secrets and twists and mystery. I'm very excited for this. I have yet to find like my perfect thriller that I absolutely love, so I'm still on the hunt for that. The next one is Deep and Darkest Red by Anne-Marie McLemore. This is a YA historical fantasy that takes place over 2 different timelines. One of them is in the 1500s in France, as there is a strange sickness going around, and one of the main character's families is suspected of witchcraft, and so she is desperately trying to save herself and her loved ones. And then the other timeline is 5 centuries later, where a girl finds these red shoes, and when she puts them on, they seal onto her feet and make her dance uncontrollably. And somehow these 2 storylines end up connecting with each other. The next book comes out on January 21st, and that is Spell Hacker by M.K. England. This is a YA fantasy heist story. And in this world, magic was once a free commodity that everyone could use, but after an earthquake, it caused a magical plague, and now magic is something that is tightly controlled by greedy corporations. So the main character and her 3 best friends run an underground magic siphoning business, and their next job is supposed to be their last heist ever, but it ends up going wrong, and they wrap themselves up in this conspiracy that could potentially end the world. So this sounds really cool. I don't know if I've ever really read a book that combines magic and capitalism, but I'm super here for it. The next book comes out on January 28th, and that is Blood Countess by Lana Popovic. This is inspired by the real-life Countess Dracula. It takes place in 17th century Hungary and follows a girl who's just begun working as the scullery maid for Countess Elizabeth Bathory. And when the Countess takes a liking to her, she is given a promotion and thrust into a life of luxury. But the Countess's affection soon turns dangerous as the girl is isolated from from all of her friends and family, and she finds out she might not actually be a friend to the Countess, but a prisoner instead. I believe this might be a female-female romance as well. I have hopes. I don't know 100%, but my little sapphic radar is kind of going off. The next one comes out on February 4th, and that is Belle Revolt by Lindsay Miller. This is a YA fantasy about two girls. One of them wants nothing more than to be a physician, but the society doesn't allow a woman of her noble birth to become a physician. The other character comes from very humble beginnings, and she feels overlooked and overworked by her family, and she really wants to be trained in magic. And these two girls meet each other and decide to swap lives. It kind of gives me like Princess and the Pauper vibes. I also believe that both of these characters are ace, and there are a lot of trans and non-binary characters in the story as well. The next one is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace, and all I know about this is that it is a pirate book about a princess who has been training to be a master of souls, which is a very dangerous form of magic. But when something goes wrong, she's forced to flee, and she does so with a pirate who she meets, and they strike up a bargain with each other. And I'm very excited. I love pirate stories. The next three books all come out on February 11th. The first one is Ink in the Blood by Kim Schmieskal, and this is a dark YA fantasy. All I know about this is that it is a queer fantasy that has tattoo magic, which, like, say no more. So this is about two girls who are inklings, which means they tattoo beautiful images onto the followers of the divine god. It is considered a very noble calling until the girls find out that they have been deceived, and the tattoos actually strip away freedom, and the divine temple is actually a torturous prison. They find an opportunity to escape with a traveling theater troupe, and they think they're in the clear until they realize that they are being followed by the divine god that they ran away from. The next one is The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood. This follows an orc princess who is about to be sacrificed, but at the last minute she is saved by a sorcerer, and she is now in his debt, so she becomes his apprentice. But it turns out he might actually be evil, and so she is now conflicted on whether or not to continue her service to him. I believe this also has a female-female romance in it. You're gonna notice a very common theme with a lot of the books on this list is that a lot of them have a female-female romance. I mean, y'all should know what you come to expect from my channel. The next four books all come out on March 3rd. The first one is Witches of Ash and Ruin by E. Latimer. This is a YA fantasy about witches, and all I know about this is that it is about rival covens and blood magic, and this also has a female-female romance in it. So the next book is The Winter Duke by Claire Eliza Bartlett, and this is about a girl who is the only survivor of a magical curse that puts all of her family to sleep, and so because of that she inherits her brother's title of Duke, his warrior bride, and all of his enemies. This says it is part Sleeping Beauty, part Anastasia. I am here for literally anything that is even remotely compared to Anastasia. The next book is The Midnight Lie by Marie Rutkoski. This is a YA fantasy that is set in the world of the Winners trilogy, and I don't know much else about it other than there is a female-female romance in it. The next one is When We Were Magic by Sarah Gailey. This is a YA fantasy, and it says it is a sly, witchy, dark comedy about four teens whose magic goes awry. These four friends are all bound together by their magic, and on prom night, their magic goes wrong and a boy ends up dead, so they work together to try to right this wrong. I have read another book by Sarah Gailey, and I really liked it, so I'm excited to see how her YA book is. The next two books come out on March 10th. The first one is A Murderous Relation by Diana Rayburn. This is the fifth book in the Veronica Speedwell series. I absolutely love this series. It follows Veronica Speedwell and Graham Stoker. Veronica is a scientist and Stoker is a natural historian. Throughout the series, they work together to investigate crimes, and they have a very slow burn romance that like literally just started picking up in the fourth book, and now this fifth book, I'm like, yes, Give me all the romance, please. And then the next one is The Deep by Alma Katsu. This is a horror book set on the Titanic, and that alone sounds incredible to me. So this follows a woman who is a stewardess on the Titanic, serving the wealthiest passengers aboard, and it takes place in dual timelines. One of them is while she is aboard the Titanic, and the other is set 4 years later after she survived the Titanic, and she is now a nurse on the Titanic's sister ship, Britannica, which has been refitted to a hospital ship during World War I. The next one comes out on April 6th, and that is Queen of Coin and Whispers by Helen Corcoran. This is a YA fantasy, and this is about a newly crowned queen and her female spy master who takes the job to uncover her father's murderer, and they have a romance with each other, and they're forced to rely on one another. The next book comes out on April 14th, and that is Elysium Girls by Kate Pentecost. This is a YA fantasy, and I do not know much about this other than it is pitched as a queer Mad Max girl gang of witches. If there was a way to get in as many of my buzzwords as possible, this one did it. It also has a freaking badass cover. I don't know what is going on with this mechanical horse on fire, but I want to find out. The next two books come out on May 12th. The first one is Girl Serpent Thorn by Melissa Bashardos, who wrote Girls Made of Snow and Fire, which was a female Snow White retelling. This one says that it is an original fairy tale about a girl cursed to be poisonous to the touch and who discovers what power might lie in such a curse. The next book is Deal with the Devil by Kit Roca. The blurb for this says Orphan Black meets the post-apocalyptic Avengers. So this is about a trio of mercenary librarians who are approached by a team of rogue super soldiers in order to seek out a treasure. Literally, I was sold at mercenary librarians. That's all I needed to know. But it's also post-apocalyptic, which I've mentioned a million times. I love post-apocalyptic books. The next book is Mallory, which is the sequel to Bird Box by Josh Malerman. I had no idea that there was even going to be a sequel to Bird Box. The synopsis for this doesn't really give much away about what it's going to be about, really, other than Mallory, so I'm curious to see how it is. I personally really liked Bird Box as a standalone, but I am interested to see where this story is going to go. The next book comes out on June 1st, and that is The Dark Tide by Alicia Jasinska. This is a YA fantasy. It says that it is a sapphic hero and villain love story involving witches and a sinking island city. Also, the cover is so beautiful, and I am hoping with all my heart and soul that the actual finished copy has gold foil on it, because oh my god, can you just imagine how beautiful that wave would be in gold foil? The next one comes out on June 2nd, and that is Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis. All I know about this is a YA fantasy inspired by The Phantom of the Opera and Moulin Rouge. The next book comes out on June 9th, and that is The Damned by Renee Attier. This is the sequel to The Beautiful, which if you haven't already seen my best books of 2019, The Beautiful was one of my favorite books that I read last year, and I am so excited for the sequel. The next book comes out on June 16th, and that is The Circus Rose by Betsy Cornwall. This says that it is a queer retelling of Snow White and Red Rose, in which teenage twins battle evil religious extremists to save their loved ones and their circus family. I feel like I've said this before, but I really love the story of Snow White and Rose Red, so I'm so excited for this new reimagining of it. And then my last, most anticipated book for the first half of 2020 is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Morena Garcia. So this takes place in an isolated mansion in 1950s Mexico, and it is about a socialite who receives a letter from her cousin begging someone to come and rescue her. So she goes to the mansion, and there she finds a lot of mystery and secrets, and I'm so excited for this. I love Gothic books. So those were all of the books that I am anticipating for the first half of 2020. I wanted to put these books on your radar because a lot of them are ones that aren't super hyped, and I wanted to shine some light on them, especially since most of them are queer. I also didn't include any adult romance in this list because I am doing a separate video of my most anticipated romance books of 2020, so definitely keep an eye out for that in the next coming days. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!